I hope everyone has a great session. I really am very passionate about this, so I'm excited to present some of the things that we've got. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so that it works a little bit better. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw those in the chat. We've got Gina, Rob, who is excellent TMS. We have Jay Bob and Mary Fisher that are all going to help us out. And as most of you will know, we are running a campaign on the social media. So go ahead and post on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Facebook that you are attending our launch Q3. Let them know that you're having a great time. You can even say that you had the best time with the British chick. That will help me so much. And be sure to tag Learn On Demand Systems. If you are picked, you will win a gift card. I'm not sure who, but you can find us on LinkedIn at Learn On Demand Systems. Twitter is at LODS Systems, and Facebook is Learn On Demand Systems. So without further ado, let's kind of get into it. So this first session really looks at bringing the sizzle. So it's bringing what you can do to TMS to make it customized. We'll be looking specifically at all the different ways that you can customize the look and feel of your organization within the TMS. So it's going to include the TMS sign-in page, the contact page, footers, navigation bars, settings, catalogs. There's so much to TMS that we don't utilize that often. So this is really fantastic that we can get this product out for you guys to look at. We are going to introduce a new feature, which is the landing page, which is great. And it simplifies the experience and it creates a cleaner look and feel for when your students first land into the TMS. And we want to give you guys the option to really make the TMS your own and create an experience where you and your organization are the focus. So I thank you for joining us. And as I say, this is a big passion of mine. So I'm excited to be here presenting to you today. So as you can see on my screen right now, this is a traditional first stop. As you can see, it's a screen that's many of you seen. The original one that you mostly see is a default sign-in page. Well, a lot of you are probably familiar with it. It says the Learn On Demand. It's got the One Training logo, a generic background, and a navigation bar with a few options. And it's got a blue color scheme. So, but what you don't know is there's so much that you can customize to make it your own. So when we first start, we think of the logo. It's simple, easy. You can change that logo to your image. So what we ask is when you do send it to us, it's white or on a transparent background, which will help it look really well. You don't have to customize anything major. Just send us a little logo by 200 by 300 200 by 53 px. Will work with most images, and just a simple way to make it a little bit first steps look a little smoother. Next, we look at the background image. That's a simple, easy change that we can make so that you guys can bring a little bit of zazz, a little bit of your own personality from your company to this site. It makes your users feel a little bit more like this is where I was supposed to go, and it's not unfamiliar. You can do this by sending us an image that is a 600 px by a 480 px. We try and have a recommended resolution of 96 dpi's because it really does make it look a little bit nicer than, but if you're having difficulties, you can always send us it and we can figure it out for you. The next is a color scheme. Right now it's a simple blue, and that blue is a default that works for Learn On Demand systems. But you can have a color scheme that's more of your own. So on the sign-in page, we can change the color of the bottom banner, or we can change the color of your sign-in boxes. Even the footer at the bottom can be changed to the colors of your company. And all you need to do is just send us your hex colors and we'll work a couple of magic tricks and make sure that it all goes where it's supposed to and make it look really nice and pretty. Then we look at the wording. So when most users sign into TMS, the wording is get the most out of your training. But you can customize this to whatever you want. So for example, if your company calls the labs iLabs, you can go ahead and change that to welcome to iLabs. If you want it to say welcome to your company name, you can do that. That's simple, easy work that we can do. What's also fantastic is that the sign-in box can be moved. So it can be placed, if your image, for example, right here, it's placed in the middle, somewhat in the middle, because the Career Rocket logo is a little bit to the left. So we've pushed it across, so you can move it, you can have it left, middle, or on the right. And then you can change the colors of the sign-in or register with a training key. So again, as you can see, that's more of a silver color. You can remove some buttons. So if you just want them to be able to sign in, we can go ahead and do that. And we can make sure that that all lines up and looks really good. And it kind of gives the users a fresh feel. Probably the most exciting part for me is this new feature. It's called the landing page. It takes TMS to the next level. So what happens is, as soon as a user logs in, they're dropped right onto a landing page. It's a fresh and simple design. It provides easy navigation so that users can get to the things that they need. You can utilize up to 4 spots because we use a template. You can have a 2 box, a 3 box, or a 4 box, depending on what's best for you and your company. So as the images flick through, you can see my training. You can see instructor-led, you can see self-paced on-demand courses, and you can see what we use as our recorded webinars, but that can be changed. And the last one, the 4th one, the recorded webinars, can be something that you completely customize. For example, if you want that to go to some outside resources, such as your page, or maybe a particular document that you want your users to be able to access fast, you can go ahead and you can add that. But what I really like is the fact that you can customize it. You can customize it, you can change the images, you can change the color, you can change the my training to say my labs, you can change the description. And I feel like as a student myself, dropping into something like this makes it feel like a little bit better. I know the TMS as a general is not the prettiest, but this kind of makes it a little bit more awesome. There are other things that you can do in TMS to make your site a little bit more customized. We're not just limited to the look and feel of the sign-in page or the login page or the landing page. We offer additional ways to make TMS feel a little bit more like your own. So, for example, you can customize your navigation bar, a contact page, a footer, as well as other options. So, for example, right here, your navigation. Your navigation bar is completely customizable. We can add standard options such as a class browser or a public schedule, a course catalog, which we're going to feature in a little bit, or a custom link. That link, for example, could be that it goes back to your help. So if you have your own help desk and you say, hey, I want my users to be able to go to my help desk rather than your help desk, you simply change that help. You click it, users are then re-navigated to your help desk. Which leads us really on to the contact. So along with the navigation bar being able to be customized, so can the contact page. And it's fully customizable with HTML. So we can add links, images, and videos. Some of our other customers have included screenshots to assist with certain support cases. For example, us at LOD, we can help our support, so my apologies, at LOD, our support team can help assist with troubleshooting access or connectivity to the labs. So if one of our users is having one of those problems, we can help. Let's say that user's having a problem with a proprietary lab. Proprietary content belongs to you. We don't know it as best you do. Therefore, you may say, I want my customer, if they're having problems with logging in or connecting to the labs, to go ahead and put a ticket in or get help from LOD. But if they're having problems with the proprietary, they're going to go ahead and go to our help desk, which can help them move a little bit quicker, which I think is a great tool. The last is the footer. If you look at the TMS page right now, you're most likely to see that the LOD system information is in the footer. You can change it and you can add whatever you want. So if you've got your own privacy policies or accessibility statements that you want to add, we can change that. We can add websites, links to your website if you'd rather have that in the footer than in the navigation bar. But one of the best key features of having the footer is it is available for every single page on the TMS. So for example, no matter where the people are, your users, they can always get help, maybe to your site, to our site. You can make that as custom as you want. And it is the same with the social sites. For example, if you want to change your Facebook to your Facebook or LinkedIn to your LinkedIn, those are all things that you're able to do when you customize your TMS. There are other site customizations. So we've gone from looking at it when the student first goes to the login page, to the landing page. But what else can you do when you're inside the TMS? And some of you may or may not be familiar with some of these features, like local language localization and a course catalog. So let's first kind of look at what language localization is. This is a behavior feature built into the TMS. And what it does is it reads what language the local browser is set for that user. And then the TMS is displayed in that language. That's a great way to ensure that your students have a fantastic experience and a really easy one at that. As mentioned, it sets automatically, but it sets automatically to what they have. But let's say, hey, I want them to be able to do it in a specific language. You can do that. We have up to 9 languages to choose from. So from French to German or even Chinese, you can make sure that every time your user logs in, they are presented inside TMS with that language. I'm going to talk about the course catalogs, and I'm going to just take down my slides because the last time I did this, I felt like there was something a little bit missing. And I really want to show you guys how awesome this feature is. So today, many of you guys will have experienced the course catalog at its finest. I'm just going to go ahead and pull up. Right here. So this is what we call a course catalog. It's probably the most unutilized feature that we have in TMS, and it's probably one of the most powerful in terms of being able to make your site customizable. So we have a catalog of courses. Simple. It's a catalog of all of the things that your users are able to locate that might interest them. But inside there, we also have what's called course tag groups. So a course tag group, for example, for this is Q3 event tracks. When you create the course, you give it a course tag group. That means it falls within that specific filter. But then we had the course tags, and then we use that as a course tag filter, and we can narrow right down. So for example, I want to take a Q3 event on TMS 200 with the best instructor, and therefore your students can narrow exactly into their courses that they want to navigate towards. What's also super powerful about this is if you attend tomorrow we have what's called auto publishing labs. And you can find out more at the final countdown if you attend that session tomorrow. And you can see and watch how TMS and LOD come to life by creating these course tags and course tag groups. And then we put those into the LOD system, and you can make sure that your classes automatically publish into this course catalog. And I think that's a really awesome feature. And back to did this earlier too. What we also like to be able to do is offer you guys the ability to customize the TMS in a way that the users sign in and the way that they access the system. We offer a few different forms of authentication, and these can be enabled on your organization. They make it easier for the users to remember their credentials, so they don't have to juggle, just another username and a password, and I can't remember it, I got a new computer. So we do offer Microsoft, Google, Azure, and a custom option. So typically, when the user creates an account in our system, they need to create an LOD system account. This either requires the administrator or the student themselves to generate a username or a password into our system. However, we do offer these alternatives. And it's great because the student is able to use a pre-existing account through another provider like Microsoft or Google to generate an account, and it allows them to log in with those credentials for that account. What we like about this piece is that users are able to utilize their own Outlook or Gmail to get into the system, and it will automatically create their account. And it's great because, like I said, they don't have to worry about remembering another username or another password. There is, unfortunately, one downside, and that is that the users, if they forget their password, they can't reach out to our support team or use an internal password reset. So as you know, right now, if you forget your password and you've created it on LOD, you can get in touch with our help desk team and they'll be able to reset your password. Now, let's say this user uses a Microsoft or a Google. They need to go directly to Microsoft or Google. If you're a corporate AAD authentication and you've got Azure Active Directory, this is another great way to be able to incorporate into your organization when they log into TMS. You can use that method. And it does require that you set up the account in TMS first, and then they can use a corporate credentials in order to authenticate into the system. And if you would like to explore any of those, you can always do that by reaching out to your account execs. And importantly, we want to let you know that we can support most forms of authentication using the OpenID format. Another way that you can customize a TMS experience is to implement an end user license agreement. And we're going to delve a little bit deeper into this topic. This way you can explore and learn about how ways that can be tailored to the user experience and how they fit your organization needs. Within TMS, you can create your own end user license agreement to supply to the users with important information that they may need. You want them to acknowledge it before they can proceed. So the end user license agreement are very beneficial to organizations that have special information or policies or procedures that are in place concerning privacy or licensing. So for example, I want to make sure that everybody agrees that when they enter the classroom, the virtual environment, they're going to behave in a manner. And I want them not to be able to get into that classroom until they've said, yes, I agree to behaving well, and I can go ahead and hit accept. If we just kind of look at this page, you can see that there are a few different ways that you can put an end user license agreement into place. You can put them in place on the organization actual page. This will be applied to the users when they first log in. So for example, if you have a lab that you're going to want them to launch, but you don't want them to expose any of that information to anyone else, you can go ahead and add it before they can even log in. You can have them, you can apply these to publishing groups. This is really useful if you want to acknowledge the user to acknowledge the information prior to launching any labs. So that's a really good way to do it, because what we can do is, as you can see there, there's lots of blocks. So we can block it until the user has agreed and accepted to those terms and conditions. You can have it as a standalone or a combination. So you can have it pop out at them and say, hey, I want you to accept this before you can move. So pop out, or you can have it just hidden there and it drops right down. So what you see is on the screen is it's built prior. As soon as I logged in, I was hit with this, but you can have it as a pop-up dialog, and it will not let them move forward until you've accepted. I want to show you some little pieces as a live demo. I want to be able to show you how you can really make this the next level. Pictures and slideshows don't do it much justice, but I wanted to show you. So here we are at the Career Rocket. And as you can see, we have like a visit an online store. So if we were to open that into another tab, we can see it's navigating us to a different website. What I particularly like about this site is they have changed the way that they do. It's not contact us. My apologies. Help. The help button will go ahead and open up the help, and the contacts will keep them with inside it will go ahead and open up into the site. What we have is a customer, and I wanted to explain this to you. We have a customer right now who has, if they have specific questions on, it tells them to go here. If they're having technical support, to go here. So you can make this so that you can bypass some of those questions. For example, if you get, I forgot my password, can you answer a frequently asked questions on here? That would be a great resource tool. And I think it offers such a next level customization. And then what I liked about theirs was they put all of their information down here at the bottom. And I like that. I think that's a really cool feature. So they have gone ahead and made the change so that when users click on something, it takes them and redirects them to another website. In addition to that, I wanted to share with you just some of our customer login pages right now. And as you can see, the customers looks a little bit funky because there's no logos and we've removed their names and things of that nature. But here's just a prime example. What I really liked about this one is they took away the header and they put it down here in the footer. So students can go ahead and they can click down here if needed. The next one I liked was because they completely removed the header and created two little buttons here on the top. They kept the course catalog and they kept the support, and the support goes ahead and it leads them to LOD support. But if you need further help, down here they have their own, it prompts them to go to their own website. They kept the same box in the same set. So they kept the same color scheme. But one of my favorites, and probably the one I just did the most, is this one. And the reason why I like this one so much is, again, as I can say, there is a couple of things that's missing, so it looks a little bit weird, but we took their website and we took the color scheme, we took one of their images, and we made sure that when the user landed on this page, it made them feel like they were landing back on the page of the company. I liked how they changed the color of the sign-in and they moved it into the middle. When the user does actually click on that, it changes to a different color, so it goes a little bit of a darker. And I really like how they incorporated this amazing color up here in the header and footer. The header, I'm sorry. And in the footer, they kind of kept everything the same. So that was, we really wanted them to kind of try and go for something else, but they particularly liked the way that was set up. They didn't want to go back to their own site. And I think that was probably my favorite one, I think, because the header looks really cool and it really does give it that extra push. I wanted to show you when I log into CareerRocket. So CareerRocket is the LOD site. It's what we use for our training. Some of you may or may not have been able to experience it. And what I want to show you is here. So this is a landing page, and as you can see, it's dropped me right where it needed to. And I like it because it's simple and it's easy. And as I say, these can be moved, so they can be centered or they can be right. They can be changed. You can make the wording different. The images, if you have images that you want to put in there, you can go ahead and send us those images and we can make sure that we incorporate them into those, which I think is a great resource tool. I have another customer who used vector images. So for example, instructor-led, there's a picture of an instructor in a vector. And I thought it was kind of a neat idea. And it drops them right where they need to be. So as you can see, this takes me right to the catalog. We incorporated a home button, so when the students hit the home, they can go automatically back to where they were. This recorded webinar, so the fourth one, it can be customized to what you want. So for example, if you're doing office hours or you're doing something where it requires the user to go outside of LOD or TMS, you can have them so that when they click on it, it takes them to that site. You can have it launch a new window, you can have it launch a new tab. It's completely up to you. And I just think that it adds that little piece of customization, especially if you get the color schemes right, especially if you do the landing page and the login pages. There is so much to be had. And here you can change the name and the slogan. So you can have it say your company, your organization. You could have it be whatever you want it to be. And I think that's a really great way. I kind of feel like I flew through that, but that's usually what happens. My last piece to you guys is if you do want to customize your TMS, go ahead and contact one of your executives today. They'll be able to help you. Along with them, you'll work with one of us who will also be able to say, hey, this color scheme's not working, this picture, we just need to make some few modifications. You can really make this TMS your own. And I think it's something that, if done properly, it looks really, really well. And last but not least, go ahead and take a little bit look at our LODS.1/documentation for making the TMS your own. Please, please share your feedback. It is brutal for me when I read them, but I know that it helps us grow. It helps us grow as a company. So please go into this session, go all the way down to the bottom, and it says last activity, and hit share your feedback. That will help us. That will help us so much. Or if there's a feature request that you want to add, if there's something maybe that we've missed on the landing page or something that we've missed, something that you want to add, go ahead and send it to LODS.1/feedback. And my last one is go ahead and post that picture on social media and tag us. Tag me. I'm hoping I get to win, but I'm probably not. But LinkedIn, you can find us on Learn On Demand System. At Twitter, you can find us at LODS Systems, and Facebook at Learn On Demand. I'm going to open it up for any questions. Hopefully one of us will be able to help you. I'm really excited, and hopefully you guys will take the TMS and push it into your own TMS. And I'm excited to see what the future brings for us.